On Thursday of this past week, there were hearings in the United States Senate where FBI Director Christopher Wray talked about a multitude of different things. But one of the things that did not get the attention that it deserves, I feel, because this is a pretty massive story impacting the entire United States of America, Christopher Wray, when questioned by Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, admitted that the entire FBI investigation into the sexual assault allegations against Brett Kavanaugh was a complete sham. According to Christopher Wray, the 4,500 complaints that they received from the tip line that they had set up, hey, if you have information about Brett Kavanaugh, call us. 4,500 tips and complaints came in. So Wray, you know what? I'm not going to put words in his mouth. I'm going to read the exchange between Whitehouse and Wray. Here it is. Wray says, "When it comes to the tip line, we wanted to make sure the White House had all the information we had. So when the hundreds of calls started coming in, we gathered those up, reviewed them, and provided them to the White House." Sheldon Whitehouse responds, "Without investigation?" Which Christopher Wray says, "We reviewed them and then provided them to the White House." Whitehouse responds, "You reviewed them for the purposes of separating from tip line traffic, but did not further investigate the ones that related to Kavanaugh, correct?" Wray says, "Correct." Whitehouse, "Is it also true that in the supplemental background investigation, the FBI took direction from the White House as to whom the FBI would question and even what questions the FBI could ask?" And Wray confirms, "So it is true. As to the who, I'm not sure as I sit here whether it is true as to the what questions." So the director of the FBI just confirmed that the Trump White House got all those complaints. The FBI gathered them up, obviously took out the ones that were just spam calls, sent them to the White House and said, "Tell us who you want us to call in this investigation into whether or not your Supreme Court nominee raped somebody many years ago." And the Trump White House, maybe even Trump himself, we don't know, went through and said, you can call this person. You can call this person. You cannot call these people. Here you go. And according to Christopher Wray, we don't know. We don't know if they told us what we could even ask the people. How in the F do you not know if they told you what you could ask those people? It's a yes or no question. The fact that you can't give a yes or no answer pretty much indicates that the answer is yes. If it was no, you'd have said no. Anything else pretty much means yes at this point. So Christopher Wray needs to be investigated. The FBI needs to be investigated. And here's the problem with all of this. Again, this was an investigation into whether or not Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee raped somebody. So the investigation from the start was a sham. That's not a surprise to anyone. We knew that at the time. The fact that Trump's White House, maybe even Trump himself, picked and chose who they got to talk to, that's new. We didn't know that. Trump was so desperate to get Kavanaugh on that court, another hardcore young conservative that could serve for 40 friggin' years, that he didn't care. And then the FBI kicked it over to him like, why don't you tell us what to do? And he did, or they did, the White House did. So we don't know. We don't have closure on this. We don't have an actual conclusion other than, of course, Kavanaugh slipping through, getting on the Supreme Court, overturning Roe versus Wade. An investigation needs to be launched. But I'm afraid at this point that even if we investigate the people who did the investigation, determine they did wrongdoing, then what? Are we going to get a legitimate investigation into Brett Kavanaugh? Okay. And then what? We going to have the numbers to impeach him? Probably not. I think that's what almost pisses me off the most, is that even if we investigated the FBI and got rid of those people who botched this investigation, even if we then launch a new investigation, determine, yeah, Brett Kavanaugh did this, we won't have the numbers to impeach him. We simply wouldn't. So he's stuck. He's there. And he's there because the FBI bungled this intentionally by letting Donald Trump interfere. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.